What's going on, everybody? My name is Colton, and welcome to my Week 4 NFL picks. Can't believe it's already week number 4 of the season, off to a quick start. Before we jump into this week's picks, let's take a look back at week number 3. If it's your first time joining, please be sure to subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. And drop a like on the video as we get into week 3. So, Dolphins-Bills. Bills come up just short with that cover. It was 12.5. But the Browns went outright. The Vikings destroyed the Bengals. The Steelers, the Patriots kind of gave that a game away. The ones I really want to highlight here, the Rams plus 3.5. They were winning that whole game. Even if they missed the game-winning field goal at the end, as long as it doesn't get blocked and returned for a touchdown, the Rams still cover. Of course, what happens, it gets blocked and returned by a touchdown by Davis. But props to the Eagles. They came all the way back. This other one, the Jets really were out of the game for most of it. The Bucs had to end up coming back. Another blocked kick scenario there. The Texans were my lock, so we no longer have the perfect lock record. It's 2-1. Trusted C.J. Stroud. I thought the Texans would bounce back. Their defense kept them in the game, but there was just no offense to speak of, so the Jaguars get the win. So that is a lock loss, unfortunately. Titans were never really in the game. Panthers had a very nice win at home. The Broncos really felt like the right spot, but they lose the lead late to the Chargers. Props to Justin Herbert. He looked really good. Seahawks rolled the Saints. The Cardinals, that was a game that I thought the Cardinals should win. They ended up barely covering the 1.5. We snuck in a cover there. And then the Chiefs took care of business, and the Lions upset the Ravens. So not a terrible week, but certainly not anything crazy. So overall in the season now, so 9-7 last week brings me to 28-20, and lock, like I said, did lose, so 2-1 in locks. All-time records, 328 and 257, and then all-time locks is 23, 15, and 1. But enough about last week. Let's get into this week's picks. Now, I'm recording this earlier because I am going to go on a vacation this week. I'm going to travel across the country and actually be at one of these games, the Bears and Raiders. But let's start Thursday Night Football with my team, the Seahawks, going to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. I don't know how the Seahawks are underdogs in this spot. I think the line already flipped on most sports books to the Seahawks favored by 1.5. I'm all over that. I mean, come on. The Seahawks are still being very disrespected by sports media in general. No one's talking about them. Now, they did just beat the Saints, who are a very poor team, and then they beat the Steelers, who, they're 2-1, but I don't know how great the Steelers are either. Fine. Totally fine. We'll give it some time. I think this is a great divisional spot for the Seahawks to continue to flex their muscles. This one will be in prime time. People can see how good Sam Darnold's playing, how good this offensive line is playing, how good Jackson Smith-Njigba is playing, because he is balling. And then this defense is just flying around. Hopefully they get some guys back. Julian Love's been hurt. Devin Witherspoon. They're already balling. They're going to get reinforcements real soon. So I'm very, very excited to see what the Seahawks put forth on Thursday Night Football. I will take them on the road. Then we go to Dublin, Ireland for the Vikings and the Steelers. I'm going to lean to the Vikings minus 1.5. Again, I think Carson Wentz, a veteran quarterback with Kevin O'Connell, it just functions better. We saw that with Sam Darnold. We saw that Kirk Cousins. I mean, as long as the quarterback really has the experience, like J.J. McCarthy doesn't feel like a good fit off the bat with this much talent around him. Because my biggest thing on the Vikings was J.J. McCarthy. That's the main reason why I predict them to have a losing record. Now, if Carson Wentz can play decent to good ball, I think the Vikings have a very good team around him, including that stellar defense. So I'm going to take the Pitt Steelers haven't showed me too much. I think Rodgers and the offense have been kind of up and down. They don't have a lot of weapons. Jalen Warren's playing pretty consistent. I would continue to start him in fantasy, even though it's a tough matchup. Neutral site game. I think the Vikings, first of 2 overseas games they're going to be partaking in, I think they get the win here. I think Carson Wentz shows that he still has some stuff left in the tank. Next up, we got the Falcons hosting the Commanders. Now, I have to take the Falcons here. I think this is the biggest overreaction spot of the week. The Falcons now come home after getting embarrassed in Carolina. Everybody's going to be on the Commanders. I'm honestly surprised it's not more than 79% here on ESPN. I think the Falcons win this game. I think they rebound. I think they get up off the mat and really show some fight in this game. Jaden Daniels still dealing with that injury. Whether he plays or not, I think the Falcons come out strong. I think they bounce back, and I think they win this game by a touchdown. So I'm going to take the Falcons plus 2.5. Just an absolutely brutal game here. Saints-Bills. 15.5 point spread. I don't want to have to take the Saints here, but I trusted the Bills last week with a double-digit spread and got burned, and the Saints just put up a putrid performance against the Seahawks, but I'm going to credit the Seahawks more for that, because the Saints battled the Niners and Cardinals. For everybody saying, the Seahawks, oh yeah, you just beat the Saints, they stink. Still an NFL team, still a team that nearly beat the Cardinals and Niners, so put a little respect to the Saints name. I think after an embarrassing performance like that, Kellen Moore will have these guys ready to at least compete. I think they lose this game by like 10 points, similar to last week with the Bills' victory over the Dolphins. So while it's tough to take the Saints after what we just saw. I'm going to do it anyway because I think 15.5 is just a lot of points. Next up, we got the Browns and the Lions, minus 8.5. Now, this is another kind of overreaction spot. We just saw the Browns, who I was on last week against the Packers, upset Green Bay. Now, I didn't think the Browns would win outright, but I definitely thought they would cover. The fact that they won outright, too, now going on the road to Detroit, I think a lot of people are going to be like, maybe the Browns are a little feisty. But their defense is really solid, but their offense still looked abysmal. They could not do anything, and it was really just because of a Jordan Love interception, a really bad pick that allowed the Browns into that game. So, and it took a lot for them to win, like the blocked kick, all that. So I'm not like jumping out of my seat to grab the Browns here at 8.5. I think the Lions at home, if this was in Cleveland, I think it'd be different, but inside the Dome, I think the Lions actually will put the first real beating down in this Browns defense. Maybe not beating, but I think they'll move the ball effectively, because even when the Ravens beat the Browns big, it really wasn't all the offense. They were getting set up by the defense, and they weren't putting up a ton of yards. I think in this game, the Lions do have a lot of success. I would look to start a lot of Lions skill position guys, all the normal ones, plus like a guy like Sam Laporta, I think, has a really good week. So I think the Browns will be a team that keeps games close throughout the year, but I don't think this is a spot for them. Next up, Panthers and the Patriots. This is also a really difficult one because I want to take the Panthers here, but I just feel like, again, I don't want to be playing too much into the overreaction game, but they just blew out the Falcons at home. Now they go to New England. This just feels like a spot where the Patriots can get right after that fumble fest they had against Pittsburgh. They could have easily won that game. Mike Vrabel, if I know anything about Mike Vrabel and his history, I think he's going to really get this team ready for a home win against the Panthers. I just can't see the Patriots losing this game. We got to see more of Travion Henderson. I would actually think to start him this week. I know he's been kind of unstartable for the first few weeks. He really hasn't done much, but I think this could be his breakout game, especially off the Ramondre Stevenson, multiple fumbles. I think he gets involved early and often. I would also look at Drake May's over. I don't know what the number is right now, but over rushing, I feel like he's been scrambling a lot. Maybe even look for an anytime touchdown by Drake May on the ground. So I like the Patriots here. I think they win by, 1 or 2 scores. So I will take them minus 4.5. I know it's hard to see how the Patriots have played and look at that 4.5 number, and then you see how the Panthers just finally bounce back. But I'm going to take the Patriots to kind of return to form. And by return to form, I mean finally show a form, because they really only had that one win against Miami, and that wasn't entirely pretty either. So I think this will be the Patriots' best game to date thus far. Next up, we have the Chargers and the Giants. Now, Jackson Dart is starting this game, which is really exciting for Giants fans. Now, I won't have any of the Russell Wilson slander. The disrespect that man has shown is more than pretty much any other quarterback in the NFL. Russell Wilson should absolutely be a Hall of Famer. He gave 10 years of greatness. He was one of the best quarterbacks I've ever witnessed. So I think, he's just at the tail end of his career. He doesn't have quite as much juice, obviously, since he left Seattle, really. But put some respect on Russell Wilson's name. But I am excited to watch Jackson Dart. I actually wanted the Seahawks to draft Jackson Dart. He just feels like he has that dog in him. He feels like he has that it factor. His first start, though, as you can see, I am going to fade him. I'm going to take the Chargers on the road. The Chargers are just kind of like a very methodical team right now. If Hampton can get going, obviously the unfortunate Najee Harris injury really opens the door for Hampton to be the guy in that backfield. Herbert is just making plays, man. He is throwing dimes. He is on fire. I think he could be heading to an MVP campaign. I don't think he slips up on the road against a rookie quarterback. I don't think Jim Harbaugh allows that to happen. I think we'll see some flashes. We'll see some excitement of what is to come for the Giants in Jackson Dart, but I don't think it's going to be a particularly smooth game for the Giants. If their defense can hang around, maybe they eke out the cover, but I was thinking about the Giants, but I ended up switching over, and I'm firmly on the Chargers here. I think they put up a good performance. We got the Eagles and the Buccaneers. Now, I'm just going to go back to the Eagles here. This line is brutal. That hook is just, I don't know what to do with this game. Buccaneers are continuing to have injuries. Now Mike Evans is going to be out, and the Eagles just refuse to lose games. And, they really shouldn't have covered last week, but they did. Same exact line. I'm just going to roll with the Eagles. I think they have so much talent that I love Baker Mayfield. He's an absolute beast, especially he's one of the most underrated running quarterbacks. The plays he had one run last week where he was just zigging and zagging, pump faking, getting to the sideline, getting the first down. He's just such a gamer, and I don't like betting against him. This is in Tampa too, but I think the Eagles are just too good right now, and I don't know if I can fade them here. I think they are healthier, and they are just such a complete team. So I think Saquon Barkley had a tough game last week. I think he really bounces back and runs all over this Buccaneers defense. I think Ibuka is going to have a huge day for the Bucs on the other side with Mike Evans being out. I think that also opens up the door for like a Kate Otten or a Sterling Shepard to be a flex. The volume has to go somewhere. I think Bucky Irving, they'll rely on him a little bit more, but it's going to be a tough team to run on. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to take the Eagles minus 3.5. Two teams that have burned me a lot already this year. The Titans and the Texans. I am going to take the Titans plus 6.5. I don't feel great about it, but I do think Cam Ward is really talented quarterback, and he really can throw the ball over the field. The Texans defense is really good. It does concern me. We're back in Houston now. Man, I just have no faith in this Texans offense right now. They look absolutely lost. They cannot move the ball up and down the field whatsoever. They can't generate long drive. They can't sustain drives. They're constantly getting in their own way. I think the Titans, I'm not saying they win this game. I'll probably take the Texans to win, but 6.5, I just think that's too many points for a team that has shown absolutely nothing besides, some pretty solid defense. But no, I can't do it right now. I got to wait and see. Texans have to show me a week of solid football before I take them again, especially at that number. Colts and the Rams, interesting game as well. The Rams are minus 3.5 at home. I keep kind of fading the Colts, and I mean no disrespect to Colts fans or Daniel Jones, but I got to take the Rams here. I don't think I picked the Colts yet. I think they're going to be frustrated with how that game ended last week. I do think the Colts are a now good but not great team. If they win this week, I'll be hand up and fully. I already kind of admitted where I was wrong. I thought they were going to win like 5 games. I will go further in that statement and say they are truly a really good team if they can beat the Rams in LA. I think they're going to be on the playoff fringes anyway, the Colts, but I think this is a tough matchup for them, and I think the Rams are just the better overall team, and this one's in LA. So I think the Colts slip up here. Give me the Rams. Jaguars and the Niners, another team I'm fading a lot, but I'm not going to say the no disrespect thing to the 49ers. I'm going to take the Jaguars plus 3.5 on the road. The 49ers are just really banged up right now. Mac Jones was begging to give the Cardinals that game. Brock Purdy will remain out. If you're giving me points right now with a decent to good team against the Niners, I'm going to take them. I think the Niners are due to slip up. They're very close to being 1-2, if not 0-3 in some of these games. Out of all the 3-0 teams, they're definitely the most vulnerable right now in my eyes. I'm going to take the Jaguars to win the game on the road, but I'll take the 3.5, of course, for the purposes here. I would also highly recommend starting Brenton Strange, who's very underrated. They're really not using Travis Hunter as much as you may think. I think this has to be a Brian Thomas week. Brian Thomas has done little to nothing this season. I think this could be the game where he rights the ship, gets back on track, and gets his fantasy managers back on board with them. Ravens and Chiefs, 2 teams that are 1-2 and 2 very good football teams. It's so hard. I said this when the Chiefs played the Eagles, and I took the Eagles, and the Eagles ended up winning. I said it was so hard to bet against the Chiefs when they have a plus in front of their name. They're plus 2.5 here, but I just don't think they're fully equipped right now to beat a team like the Ravens. I have to take Baltimore here minus 2.5. Xavier Worthy can't come back. I really don't think it matters as much until Rashee Rice also joins the fray. So give me the Ravens minus 2.5. It's crazy. I wouldn't really target a lot of guys to start. I'm not a huge Zay Flowers advocate anyway, just because the way this offense runs, it's, obviously a ton of Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. So I don't expect the Ravens to put up a lot of points, but I really think this could be like a 17-10, 17-13 type game, and the Ravens send the Chiefs to 1-3. Next up, the game that I will be at out in Las Vegas. The Bears at the Raiders. The Raiders are minus 1.5. Going to be flying across the country, and I will be at this game. I think it's going to be a good one. I think there'll be a lot of points. I think Caleb Williams showed some flashes last week. I like to continue to start Rome Odunze, DeAndre Swift. Maybe Colson Loveland gets something going finally here. We'll see. And on the Raiders side, Trey Tucker just exploded. I don't think his production is very sustainable, but he had a very nice week, dropped like 40 fantasy points. I think the game script is going to be a lot of throwing the football, and I think we're in for a fun one. Ashton Genty really hasn't exploded yet. Maybe he'll get some more work, and maybe the Raiders can kind of flip the script and kind of try to control time of possession, start to pound the rock, but I don't really see it. I see this being like a 34-27 type game, and I'm going to take the Raiders at home. I trust Geno to bounce back. He's kind of been struggling. He's throwing for a lot of yards, but still not playing great football, so this one could definitely go either way, on the fence, but I'll take the home team in Las Vegas. Packers and Cowboys. Now, this is one that I'm so close to switching to the Cowboys, but no CeeDee Lamb. Absolutely start Jake Ferguson. He's going to continue to pop off. He is such an underrated tight end. I'm going to take the Packers, the Micah Parsons revenge game. I think they go into Dallas and kind of stick it to Jerry Jones, and I think the Packers can win this game by 7. It's so tough because I think the Cowboys will play better at home, and this game means a lot for the organization just with how things went. I'm so close to switching, but the Packers have had a lot of success against the Cowboys as well. So I'll stick with it. Jordan Love has played well in that building, so give me the Packers to cover on the road. All right, the first of 2 Monday Night Football games, the Jets and the Dolphins, a couple of 0-3 teams. I was back and forth in this one, but give me the Dolphins at home. I don't have a lot of reasoning for this. I think they're the better offense, I guess. Jets have a better defense, but they really haven't shown it. I think this could go either way. So usually when it's a game like that, you like to take the underdog when these teams are so even. But just because they're at home, I really don't have much more for you. I think the Dolphins win, 21-17. 23-20, something like that. So give me the Dolphins. Don't have a strong opinion about it. Bengals at the Broncos. I think the Broncos are going to win here, but I think 7.5 is a lot. I think the Bengals were facing a very difficult situation on the road against Brian Flores defense. You could make the same argument in Denver against a very good Broncos defense, but I don't see it like that. I think the Bengals are going to hang around this game. Jake Browning is a fighter. I think when he came in a few years ago for Joe Burrow, they had some success. He led the team back against the Jaguars last week, or 2 weeks ago, This is a spot where the Bengals can hang around. I think the Broncos aren't really built to blow teams out at the moment. I think the Broncos will figure some things out about themselves in this game. I think they'll get into a little bit of a groove. I think they'll win by like a 24-20 type margin, but I will take the Bengals. I know it's tough whenever a team gets blown out 48-10 to back them the next week, but it's a week-to-week league, and I like the Bengals to keep it close. Still a ton of talent on that Bengals offense. All right, lock of the week. We are now 2-1, of course, thanks to the Texans. I'm going to look no further than our Thursday night game. I'm taking the Seahawks. I don't take the Seahawks very often when it comes to locks, but I'm going to do it here because I really think they're a lot better than the Cardinals. I think they're going to go into Arizona and really control the game, and I'm not a believer in the Cardinals anyway, so all the more reason to back the Seahawks as my lock of the week. But that's going to do it for this week, guys. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I will see you all in week number 5. I think there's a really good slate this week, some really good games, and I'm excited. So let me know what you guys think, who's going to win this week, any bold predictions, any fantasy advice. Always leave all that in the comments. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you all very soon. Later.